I caught my husband sleeping with our babysitter, so I fired her. Now he is upset, and I don't want a divorce. I'm still trying to process this while typing this out. My husband and I have been together for 6 years and married for 4. We have 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. We both work full-time. I'm a realtor, and my husband owns his business. We've had several different nannies in the past. Sometimes, our parents end up watching the kids. About 8 months ago, my husband told me that one of his friend's daughters, we'll call her Ella, 20F, was looking for a part-time job during college. We live in a small college town, so her commute would be pretty close. We tried her out one night, and it went smoothly. She's always been nice to me, and the kids love her. My suspicions started last month when I came home early to find my husband had been home. Ella was also at the house babysitting. I asked my husband why he didn't send her home if he was home. He responded, "She's just trying to make a little money, and the kids were having fun." Then 2 weeks ago, I drove by my husband's office on the way to a meeting, and her car was parked there. I asked my husband later about what Ella was doing at the office. He said that she probably stopped by to see her dad. When I come home, Ella is always dressed up more with makeup done and heels on. 2 days ago, I found strands of blonde hair in the back seat of my husband's truck. I have blonde hair, but this was closer to Ella's shade. Also, I think my husband would only do something in the back seat since he's 6'6" and weighs 240 pounds. Last night, I found the opportunity to check my husband's phone while he was with the kids. I had romantic texts between them, but I could tell that text messages had been deleted. It didn't make sense if you read the conversation because it was missing the middle part. I talked to my friend this morning, and she pointed out that my husband is a type, blonde woman. Ella falls perfectly in that category. Should I talk to him or wait to find something more concrete? Update 1. Nanny is currently at the house right now. I tracked my husband using Find My iPhone, and he's also headed home, a 30-minute drive. They both think I'll be working until 7 p.m. today. I walk into the house 15 minutes after my husband gets home unannounced. I'm not sure what the plan is if I catch them. Unfortunately, I can't access his phone logs since his phone plan is through his business. We have cameras on the outside of the house. We have a baby monitor near the kid's bed. I'm not ready to fire her unless I get solid evidence of my husband cheating. I need to know if my husband has a romantic relationship with her first. Update 2. I needed more circumstantial evidence to get the concrete evidence I sought. I tracked my husband through Find My iPhone. He stopped on his way home at the grocery store for 10 minutes. I parked and waited on a side street to see when my husband would get home. The husband got home at 5:30 p.m. Ella was scheduled to work until 6 p.m. We have a long gravel driveway leading to our house. I decided to park near the barn so I wouldn't be heard pulling up. I walked in the front door and found Ella feeding my 4-year-old. She was also preparing dinner in the kitchen. Today, she wore a tight top, skirt, and platform heels. I asked if she knew where my husband was, and she replied, "He was upstairs taking a shower." She then immediately went over to the living room to pick up her phone and send a text message to someone. Also in the living room was a fresh bouquet. I asked her about the flowers, and she said a guy she's been seeing gave them to her today. She said she didn't want to leave them in the car and brought them inside. I asked her about the guy that she was seeing. She said he was from school and was curious if it was going anywhere. I went upstairs to see if my husband left his phone in the bedroom. He left his phone on the dresser. Sure enough, the newest text message was from Ella, and it read, "Your wife is home." I tried looking up the deleted messages on his phone, but they had been permanently deleted. I decided to wait in our bedroom for my husband to come out of the shower. He comes out and is surprised to see me in the bedroom. I told him my 6:30 showing got cancelled. I tried to initiate sex to see how he would react. He said he was doing it while Ella was in the house. Felt uncomfortable. At this point, Ella was upstairs in my younger son's room, which shares a wall with ours. Ella leaves the house at 6 p.m. with the flowers. After dinner, my husband mentioned buying Ella a new car for Christmas, and he reasoned that her car was old and unsafe for our kids to ride in. I told him that I would think about it. I'm thinking about firing her on Monday without telling my husband and seeing how they both react. I'm still trying to process everything going on. I'm still hoping all of this is just me overthinking. I love my husband, and I wouldn't say I like the thought of our beautiful family splitting up. Thanks for all the advice. Update. I would like to thank everyone for their support and ideas on how to deal with this situation. Yesterday morning, I met up with Ella and told her that we wouldn't need her services anymore due to my little sister being available to watch the kids, which is true. She quietly said she understood and told me to let her know if I would change my mind. My husband called me 5 minutes later, sounding very upset about Ella being fired. Ella told him, but he claimed her dad told him we fired her. I told him that was my final decision, and there was no change. He came home 20 minutes later and asked me why I didn't talk to him first about firing her. I told him everything I'd noticed between them, from the texts to her clothing. He denied everything and said it was all in my head. I told him if you wanted this marriage not to end in a divorce, he had to cut all contact with Ella. After 1 hour of arguing, he finally agreed not to contact her anymore. I honestly don't have the mental energy to deal with a divorce, split my kids, or date again. I don't want to be a single mom, always busy and unhappy. I told him never to bring her up again. I don't know 100% if they had an affair, but I think I shouldn't find out. Why health? I think I will quit my job, raise my kids, and work on my marriage. I'm unsure if this was all because I've been working many hours and am distant from my husband. Thanks again for all the support. One more thing, men. Stop messaging me pictures of your private parts on Reddit. Story 2. Ex cheated on me and falsely accused me of rape, so I exposed her to everyone she knew. In late May 2016, I asked my crush, Kate, of 3 years out on a coffee date. 3 dates later, we made things official. For the next 7 months, our relationship felt too good to be true. We clicked on so many interests, so we hardly ever disagreed on anything. We were very open with each other, which led to an incredible sex life. We both had good jobs, so we had money to spoil one another, and our families were both enthusiastic about our relationship. In January 2017, I was accepted into my country's Armed Forces Reserve program as a combat engineer. I underwent basic training from February to late April, and it was, up until then, the hardest thing I had ever done. There were several times I thought I wouldn't graduate, and the only thing that kept me going was Kate's words of encouragement over texts and calls. She was there when I received my BTC certificate and never let me forget how proud she was of me. As part of my job in the reserves, I would have to go away in the summer for advanced training between early June and late August. Kate fully supported me in going 400 kilometers away to the training center and spending almost our entire summer break on work to further my military career. The summer was brutal on me. I was a social outcast from every clique that formed on our course and was the butt of several jokes. My self-esteem plummeted through the floor, but Kate's belief in me made me prevail. I passed as 5th best on the course and owed it all to her. The decline. Things between us started to sour after returning home. She said I wasn't as spontaneous and outgoing as before I went away. I was dismissive, took small jabs and jokes as personal insults, and would rather stay in, watch movies, and have sex instead of going out. Unbeknownst to both of us, I had developed some nasty social anxiety due to the events of the summer, and it started affecting our relationship. Nearing our 2nd anniversary in 2018, we argued over a minor misunderstanding and broke up. I was incredibly distraught before she texted me 3 days later and said she wanted to try and fix things. I didn't see her for 3 weeks, but we kept in touch every day, slowly mending things. When we officially got back together, nothing felt the same. Every time I talked with her, it was as if I was walking on eggshells, and it only worsened my anxiety, which in turn hurt our already damaged relationship. Then, things finally came to a head at the end of July, the hurt. While in school, Kate met a dude named John. She saw what she used to see in me and John, and they quickly became very close friends. He consoled her through our breakup, and every little time, I messed up afterward. For the record, I knew of John but never thought Kate would ever do anything with him. One night after work, we planned for me to stay at Kate's place. I saw the two of them chilling on the living room couch. Kate said that John had dropped by for a spontaneous visit and was just leaving. After John went, she became cold and distant. I slowly accepted that our relationship was dead and asked her how things were between us. She echoed my thoughts and we agreed to break up the next day. She said I could stay the night one last time, but she was still worried about me, seeing how it was late. From there on, until she fell asleep, Kate became uncharacteristically glued to and protective of her phone. In the past, she wouldn't care if I had glanced over to catch her and her friends texting about whatever. But now, she did her best to hide the screen from me. I asked her about it, and she said it was private stuff, raising more questions. After she fell asleep, curiosity got the better of me. I unlocked her phone, I knew her passcode and found hundreds of messages between her and John. Messages about how she was now single, how exciting it was that they could now be a couple in public, and laughing at me about everything I did. I quietly sobbed as I read through each hurtful text. My crying wasn't as quiet as I thought. Kate stirred and threw a fit once she realized what I was doing. I couldn't find the anger or words to combat her, so I grabbed my stuff and left, with Kate shouting and yelling at me the whole time. It was late in the morning when I got home. I just broke down and cried all night. I called in sick from work the next day and spent it sulking in my bed. The day after, I got several angry texts from Kate's friends and family. In a bid to save her image and denounce anything I might say about her, she told anyone she knew that I had forced myself upon her that night in one last attempt to get some before we broke up and left after the deed was done. Though what I had done was scarring, she refused to press charges because she didn't want to make a circus of her life in court, and was the bigger person by doing so. I spent the next few months in fear that her allegation would have me discharged from the army and my image forever tarnished, but nothing ever happened. The revenge. 5 months afterward, Kate DM'd me. After pleasantries, she apologized for the whole thing and admitted to faking it, though she would never publicly admit it to save her reputation. My image be damned. This angered me, but I kept calm. I screenshot the texts and continued talking with her. Over the next 3 months, she entered into a cycle of events as follows. Complain about a current life situation, usually about John screwing up in their relationship in one way or another, and asking for advice. Lamenting our relationship, how I never screwed up like John did, how she wished we could go back to the way things were. Blah blah blah. Ignoring me because John finally pulled his head out of his ass, made some substantial romantic gesture, and saved their relationship. Going on a smear campaign on social media about our relationship, employing her friends for help, knowing in total that I would see it all, and trying to bait me into an argument. It would work. She would try to turn the argument around, paint me as the bad guy, and then block me for about a month before repeating the cycle. This happened 3 times like clockwork, and it always left me burnt out and broken, but a part of me wanted it to happen. I took screenshots of every damning thing she said each time it did. I had a full SD card of everything I compiled before I finally decided it was time. Making several picture copies of the worst text messages I caught, I bought several manila envelopes. I mailed them to everyone I thought would matter to Kate. Her parents, grandparents, the extended family she was close with, best friends, work boss, co-workers, teachers, whoever I could find a mailing address for. I ensured that anyone getting the envelope would know that the texts were between me and Kate, and I sent them off. Within 3 weeks, I got results. Some people who messaged me to shame and insult me before now apologized for their words. My favorite was from her parents, who went on to say that they were deeply sorry about their daughter's behavior, how they raised her to be better than how she acted, and to please not pursue any legal actions. The thought had crossed my mind, but I didn't have the money nor the mental fortitude to fight a legal battle. I told them I'd think about it and that they'd be the first to know, besides Kate if I did. Kate sent me some texts as well, with things like, "How could you betray my trust like that?" Or, "You ruined my life, you bastard." I didn't reply. I just read every angry text that flew in with a satisfied grin and then blocked her when they stopped. I never entirely found out how badly my revenge affected her life, but I know she dropped out of school and no longer had a job. I hope John was worth it. TLDR, my girlfriend cheated on me and falsely accused me of rape to cover it up. I endured her shit for a year, gathering evidence against her via text messages, and socially nuked her life. Edit. Thank you all so much for the kind words of support. A lot of people have been worrying about my mental state, so I thought I'd relieve those worries. I've been seeing a therapist for 3 months now, and have made significant progress. I can't begin to explain how much I owe her for helping me regain some normalcy. That's it with the story. If you want to hear more, click the suggested video. It would mean a lot if you subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers this month. Thanks to everyone who stayed till the end. We will see each other again tomorrow.